Wish I had, been able to glean more from the time because I did spend, 10 or 8 fishing seasons with him, probably maybe 5 or 6 with my grandmother before she passed. But she taught me a lot too about cooking. From the time I was 11, I was a deckhand, but I was also a helper in the kitchen. So I learned a lot from her, and then when she passed and I was about 16, I did all the cooking for my grandfather, all the things that he liked that my grandmother made. So it was training by osmosis, I guess. Same with mending a net. A lot of fishermen, some fishermen did mend their own nets. There's net women to do the net mending and that. My grandfather mended his net. It wasn't like, he was teaching me how to mend the net. I had to watch him and practice, and when he wasn't there, because he'd get very impatient if I made mistakes. But eventually I learned how to mend the net, so proud to say that in the 2 years that I fished on my own, I never hired a net woman once. So, I think there was at least this is part of the Japanese part of it, sort of this tradition and expectation of, I was expected to help not just my grandfather, but other fishermen. Like when they'd come in, they had to rack their nets. I was expected to be there and to go over and offer to help and that. It was very, very communal in that sense. Also, we had a Japanese bathhouse, and so my grandmother and Mrs. Yoshida and Mrs. Imo, and I don't think Mrs. Nishimura or Shigetani went, but they would clean the tub and start the water warming up in the mid-afternoon, and then they would go in first and take their baths. And then after that, 5:30, 6 o'clock would start the men, and that's where a lot of the BS started flying around about, what the fishing was like and, whatever happened on the water. So you always had to be there early, because by the time, got to 8 or 9 o'clock, you wouldn't want to go in that bath water. That's a part of sort of Japanese culture that, of course, I was never exposed to back in Montreal, and it was kind of different. It was a little bit odd at first, but you got used to it.